Denmark's evolving approach to its long-range air and missile defense architecture has become a revealing case study of Europe's wider struggle to balance industrial sovereignty, battlefield-proven capabilities, and the accelerating demands of modern aerial threats. Only 2 months after Copenhagen selected the European SAMP/T system over the American-made Patriot in a long-anticipated tender, Danish officials now openly confirm that negotiations with the United States are underway to purchase a full Patriot battery after all. This unexpected turn does not merely reflect shifting political interests, it exposes deeper questions about Europe's defense industrial capacity, operational realities observed in Ukraine, and the increasingly complex threat landscape that requires layered and diversified defensive solutions. The initial decision to favor SAMP/T was widely interpreted as a vote of confidence in Europe's own high-end air defense capability. The EU has long sought to strengthen strategic autonomy, and choosing a European system over its American counterpart was symbolically and practically consistent with that goal. The consortium behind SAMP/T, primarily France and Italy, presented their system as a robust, modern alternative with strong performance against a broad spectrum of threats. Moreover, the system offered interoperability benefits within the European defense ecosystem and promised to play a central role in the continent's developing integrated air defense structure. For Denmark, which has increasingly aligned its defense planning with broader Euro-Atlantic priorities, SAMP/T seemed a natural choice. However, Defense Minister Troels Lund Poulsen's confirmation that talks with Washington are ongoing for a potential Patriot acquisition signals that the Danish government is pursuing a more nuanced strategy. While SAMP/T will indeed serve as the designated long-range air defense platform, Copenhagen recognizes that a single system may not be sufficient to counter the rapidly evolving ballistic and hypersonic threats emerging from Russia and beyond. The Patriot PAC-3 MSE variant has, over the past year, earned global recognition for its repeated and highly publicized successes in Ukraine, where it has intercepted ballistic and even maneuvering hypersonic systems, something few Western systems have demonstrated in practical high-intensity combat. Although SAMP/T is theoretically capable of countering similar threats, reports from Ukrainian operators highlight several practical challenges, logistical limitations, and situational constraints that reduce its effectiveness under real combat conditions. This emerging gap between theory and practice appears to be influencing Denmark's strategic calculations. While European manufacturers assert that SAMP/T possesses full ballistic interception capabilities, Ukrainian battlefield feedback suggests that the system still faces non-trivial integration issues, slower reaction times compared to Patriot, and a smaller stockpile of available interceptors. Patriot's PAC-3 MSE interceptor, by contrast, has proven itself consistently under extremely demanding operational conditions. The credibility earned by surviving, and succeeding, in real combat is a powerful advantage that no laboratory test or marketing brochure can replicate. For Denmark, a nation increasingly aware of its exposed position in the Baltic region and the growing missile threat to Northern Europe, this battlefield-validated track record may be decisive. Another factor strengthening Patriot's appeal is the massive difference in missile production capacity. In 2025 alone, the United States plans to manufacture roughly 600 PAC-3 MSE interceptors, a number that far surpasses Europe's production of Aster missiles for SAMP/T. For countries building a long-term, sustainable air defense posture, the availability of interceptors is almost as important as the system itself. A highly capable launcher is of little value if it lacks sufficient missiles during a crisis. Europe is currently struggling to expand production capacity, and while long-term industrial initiatives are underway, they cannot immediately close the supply gap. Denmark appears keenly aware of this reality and seems determined to avoid the risk of fielding a high-end system with too few interceptors to fully exploit its potential. The financial dimension also plays an important role. The Patriot offer reportedly dropped from $8.5 billion to approximately $3.5 billion for 2 batteries shortly before Denmark made its initial SAMP/T decision. Although the reduction came too late to influence the tender, it clearly resurfaced as a crucial incentive when Copenhagen revisited its long-term defense strategy. Cost efficiency is becoming increasingly important as NATO members, including Denmark, undertake massive defense spending increases to meet the alliance's 2% GDP target. Even with this expansion, budgets remain finite, and governments must carefully balance investments across air defense, artillery, drones, naval modernization, and ammunition production. A significantly cheaper Patriot package, combined with proven performance, creates a compelling strategic option. However, Denmark's potential dual-system approach introduces complexities that should not be underestimated. Operating both SAMP/T and Patriot will inevitably increase logistical burdens, training requirements, maintenance costs, and overall operational expenses. Interoperability across two distinct long-range systems is feasible, but unavoidably complicated. The Danish armed forces already plan to integrate a diverse mix of medium and short-range systems including IRIS-T, Mica-VL, and NASAMS. Adding both SAMP/T and Patriot to the upper tier of this layered defense will create the most diverse air defense portfolio of any NATO member relative to its size. This diversity improves resilience. No single failure can compromise national defense, but it weakens standardization, drives up lifecycle costs, and demands a highly skilled, technically versatile personnel base. Still, Denmark seems prepared to accept these complications. In the context of Northern Europe's increasingly tense security environment, redundancy is not wasteful, it is strategic. The logic is straightforward. SAMP/T can focus on cruise missile, aircraft, helicopter, and UAV threats, while Patriot can specialize in ballistic and hypersonic defense. The systems complement rather than duplicate one another. Given that Russia continues to expand its arsenal of ballistic missiles and has demonstrated willingness to use hypersonic weapons against Ukraine, Copenhagen's choice appears grounded in sober threat assessment rather than procurement inconsistency. What emerges from this development is a broader insight into the future of European air defense. Europe is not yet ready to rely solely on its own industrial base for high-end missile defense, particularly against ballistic and hypersonic threats. Even as the European defense industry strengthens, American systems will remain indispensable for the foreseeable future. Denmark's evolving procurement plan reflects a pragmatic recognition of this reality. Instead of choosing between strategic autonomy and battlefield effectiveness, Copenhagen seeks to blend both approaches, strengthening Europe's capabilities through SAMP/T while simultaneously ensuring maximum protection through Patriot. As negotiations continue, it is increasingly clear that Denmark is crafting one of the most robust layered air defense architectures in NATO relative to its national size. By combining the strengths of multiple systems, Copenhagen sends a clear message: modern air defense must be flexible, redundant, and scalable, especially in an era when the sky has once again become a primary domain of warfare.